not a fantastic time after you've seen a lot of celebrity and awards and all of that. First of all, my congratulations to all the winners and all those participated. We've been talking about AI is irrelevant. We started the day by saying AI is irrelevant if the data isn't, right? Everything starts with data. And you've been talking about some word called game changing. But we are all playing a business game. And what is in it for a business? We are all playing a game for our consumers or customers, depending on whether you're in a B2C or a B2B business. Now, how do we understand consumers on an always-on basis in a dynamic environment? And that's going to decide who is going to change the game and who isn't. Now, what's the big challenge? And we have been working across, we started with fashion and lifestyle business, where the gap between supply and demand is as much as 50%. 1 out of 2 products made in the world does not sell well. And that could be different depending on the business you are in. There is a significant waste between what we think customer want and what actually customer wants. Particularly during the inflationary times, we are going through huge change in market share on an ongoing basis. How do we address this? This is not something that we are talking about. Gartner's latest research also says that all brands and retailers are looking at pushing categories to customers, but the direction in the future is putting consumer at the center. Easier said than done. In the morning when I was asking all of you, saying that what's your market share, whether it is how many of you have 100% market share, how many of you have 50% market share, the point here is even the biggest companies have not more than 10% market share. Very few markets that people own 30, 40, and 50% market share. That's almost very close to monopoly. Hence, the intelligence is outside the organization. It's not inside the organization. And people say, okay, I have a lot of data, and so much of data is available in the web, we can scrape it. Now, the question here is, when you scrape data, what you get is supply-driven intelligence. You only know what the brand is showing to the consumers. You really don't know what consumers are actually preferring, which is a private data sitting with each one of the customers, each one of the brands or retailers. For how do we shift to a demand-driven intelligence, that too perpetual? Now, it's not an easy task, and that's what we are trying to solve. The current ways of doing understanding consumer is to understand what they're talking about in social, what they are doing in retail. But the question here is, can we have an intelligence which is demand-driven and in a very holistic manner on a perpetual basis? One can do that, and the way that we are trying to solve is to collect data at internet scale across the world by geography, by category, irrespective of whichever business we are in. Once you collect the data, you of course have supply signals. Now, how do you decode demand? Now, demand per se is not visible, but surrogate signals of demand are visible. For what we collect is, just to give you a perspective, we collect 500 million products. We track 500 million products every day. We're sitting with 17 billion data impressions as we speak. Our data set is superset of Amazon, Walmart, Target, Macy's. You can talk about any of them. That's the size of the data we handle. And what we do is we collect surrogate demand signals, which could include intensity of visibility, velocity of stock out, customer ratings and reviews, price movement over time, putting all of that in a neural network, which is pre-trained, to come out with a demand prediction of every single product in the world in your category. We can come back and say what's working for your consumer, what are their tastes and preferences at various levels from category to attribute over time, and also come out with. Now, what do we offer? We provide market intelligence irrespective of which market, whether you sell spirit, whether you sell auto components, whether you sell fashion. That's one. And shopper insights. What are the relevant shoppers shopping in your... We give you a view of baskets, not give you a view of what's in the warehouse. And of course, competitive intelligence. Now, using competitive intelligence, we are able to provide dynamic prescriptive actions that you can take. What kind of prescriptive actions? I'll just skip for time. For using our SaaS solutions, one can actually spot consumer-driven demand trends. You can dynamically spot what are the white spaces that you can go after. Not only white spaces, also black spaces. Align with consumer tastes and preferences all the time. Now, is our demand science validated? These are some of our customers. You can see they've tested our data without taking any data from them. We get it 80% plus accurate across categories, across markets globally. Now, we help you give prescriptive decisions on, for example, instructions on white spaces, which is to say, what kind of areas that I should invest more by looking at market with respect to you, in the relevant territory and come back and say, start doing these, or do more of this, or don't do this, which is a black space, or exit these items, or re-energize some of the portfolio that you have. Some of those recommendations will look like this, irrespective of which category, right? It can be multi-attribute combinations. Imagine millions of products being compared along with your portfolio, come out with real-time recommendations on a dynamic basis, and one can put a threshold to find out what kind of threshold in which that you want to take action. Across various spaces, black space, don't do this, exit these items, and today, particularly inflationary times, you really don't want to have products which do not have return on investments. How do you remove items is as much important as what you should add. That's a high-level architecture of how all of this data is getting converted into real-time recommendations. Now, we've been talking about Gen AI, right? As a company, we are 7-year-old. We have been AI native from day zero, not because AI was hyped. The only way we can handle such big data and take inference is through AI models, right? For we handle unstructured text, unstructured visuals. From day zero, we've been using all the AI streams. And this is one of our generative tools we developed 3 years back, right? Even before ChatGPT. This tool can actually create fashion designs with data in the market. It can be pre-trained on contextual data, pre-trained on market data. What you're seeing here is it can actually create dresses in few seconds, right? Now the question here is somebody can adopt it, right? While we have seen a lot of DALL-E, this has been existing well before DALL-E stages. So we also have generative capabilities. Very quick benefits of what our customers are seeing, right? An European women's wear brand, we help in basically impacting 3 variables: top line increase, bottom line improvement, and inventory reduction, return on capital employed. This is another Fortune 100 US retailer. In this particular retailer, we have actually generated jointly, not just us, jointly, close to $1 to $2 billion of economic benefit in our last 2 years of association. That's a global footwear brand working across 29 countries. That's a jewelry brand, omni-channel brand, some of our customers here. And we believe in continuous innovation. We partner with a lot of software companies, aggregators, and also academic institutions. We have active partnership with both Wharton and MIT. Please reach us. We are available here, and we can chat. And in case you want to connect with me, that's a QR code. Reach out to me. Thank you very much for the listening, and I'm sure and wish you a great evening party ahead.